Merry Christmas, everyone. I'm hoping you're liking Christmas Day. But today, I think I wanted to talk about a movie that I've never seen before. A classic that everybody considers to be one of the greatest films ever made. And yeah, watching it, I really thought that It's a Wonderful Life was fantastic. And it's so sad that it took me this long to see it, but I never really had a wait or had a want to see it before. But in the past couple of years that I've really gotten into film, um, I really it's a shame that it took me this long even then to see it because I wanted to see it a year or two ago, but just every time the last couple of years I've wanted to rent it, but it's like no, you got to spend $15 to buy it new, and you can't rent it on these sites to rent it. So that's so interesting that this is one of those movies where it's in the holidays, so it doesn't let you rent it. Like I had a weird situation with that. I don't know why, but anyway, the movie "It's a Wonderful Life." I don't know what to say about this because everybody. This came out in 1946, so this has had so many years of talk and how great it is, how amazing it is, and I think that too. I thought that it was fantastic, and the thing I'm going to point to, the one of the best things I think about it is James Stewart. Now, James Stewart is an actor that, to me, I haven't seen all of his movies, but everything I've seen him in, he is fantastic. I think he's one of the best actors of that time. Legitimately, he's great in this movie, and I think that he gives so much charisma and sincerity to this character. I like that this character has layers to him. I like how he changes throughout this movie from being happy to sad to happy again, but how he changes is interesting and how the performance works so well in with the character. I think that it works really fantastically well. And I think that in terms of the story, I think it's interesting. I like how even though I just saw this movie yesterday, I think that this movie is interesting because it's been parodied so many times. This is one of those movies that you have seen everywhere. So I've seen a lot of things, TV shows, some in movies sometimes where this is parodied, and this is the thing that it came from, the source of these parodies. And I think that it's interesting because I have seen this in parodies before about a man or a kid or whatever who wishes they were never born, and then they find out that like their life is actually wonderful. They're just in a bad time at the moment, and I think that I've seen that in a lot, like spoofed in a lot of things. But I like that I finally saw the source of it, the actual thing that started it, because this was really really fantastic. I loved how the story was. I thought that it was interesting the way that it went along. I liked that it had the perspective of Clarence, of one of the angels who doesn't have his wings. And I liked, even though you could call it cheap now, but I love this visual where it has space and it has three little glowing circles, and it's the angels. Um, and I like how you have that visual. I think that's so cool, and I love how it's in black and white because it looks so interesting visually. Seeing just the vastness of space and seeing these couple little dots that when they talk, they light up. I thought that was really cool and really unique, and I thought that was a great thing in 1946. That is a cool idea to do, and I don't know if they did that before in other movies, but I love that idea of those little dots like lighting up whenever they spoke in space. I thought that was really cool. I thought that was interesting. Um, I like I said, I love the sincerity um, of his character. I loved how George Bailey is just so like you feel all the emotions for him, and it feels so warranted whenever he gets pissed and whenever he finally rages and Clarence meets him and he gets so mad at everybody about life. And I like how it builds up to that, but then it builds up to him realizing that his life was actually wonderful. I really think that's cool. And I thought that the movie is 2 hours and 20 minutes long, but it was so interesting the whole movie. Like, I was never bored. I felt so much because of these characters and because of the story that I didn't even think about the time really at all. I thought that it really worked so well. And I saw it in a theater too, because one of the theaters I live close to had it there. So I went and saw it and was so glad I did, because this was a great movie to see for the first time in a theater. I love seeing classic movies that I was not born for to see in the theater. I think that is very cool. And especially one that's black and white in the 40s. I think that's really cool. But but just there's so many things about it that I've know has been said billions of times, but I'd say like I said, the highest point to me in the movie, I think the best thing is James Stewart. He is fantastic, and like I said, he brings so much character to this character, and the character is so well written, and the story is so interesting, and I love how it builds up to everything, and it becomes something more. And I like how you get so much time with these characters, and they're all so interesting, and they all have a point to being in the movie, because they all center around George Bailey and his struggle, and how he, by the end, he realized, he wishes he was never born. But I like how it builds up so much to that, with all these characters involved, which are all important to the movie and important to his character arc. But yeah, he was fantastic, and the story was great, and everything to me spoke as a true classic. Even though I never have seen it before, I thought that this was fantastic and worked so well. And I completely see why everybody thinks this is a classic. Thanks, guys, so much for watching. Have a Merry Christmas. Check out my other stuff, and I'll see you next time.